I'm Richard Clarke. Ramana Maharshi's teachings are deep and profound. Listen each day to deepen your practice. Welcome. I'm reviewing and commenting on the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Today is from Talk 485, Part 3. In the course of conversation, Sri Bhagavan continued talking about mind control. How then can the benefit be made lasting? It is by finding the cause of the misery. Misery is due to objects. If they are not there, there will be no contingent thoughts, and so misery is wiped off. How will objects cease to be is the next question. The shrutis and the sages say that the objects are only mental creations. They have no substantive being. Investigate the matter and ascertain the truth of the statement. The result will be the conclusion that the objective world is in the subjective consciousness. The self is thus the only reality which permeates and also envelops the world. Since there is no duality, no thoughts will arise to disturb your peace. This is realization of the self. The self is eternal, and so also is its realization. In this talk, Sri Ramana Maharshi addresses the question of how to make spiritual benefits lasting, specifically those related to mind control and the cessation of misery. The key theme here, it revolves around the relationship between external objects, thoughts, and suffering. Ramana first points out that misery arises from objects, which in turn lead to thought. When we focus on the external world, our minds become cluttered with thoughts about these objects, and from this clutter, suffering emerges. If there were no objects to focus on, there would be no contingent thoughts, and thus no misery. This invites the question, how can objects cease to be? Ramana refers to ancient scriptures, shrutis, and the wisdom of sages who say that objects are not truly real in themselves, but are merely mental projections. In other words, the things we perceive as objects, solid and separate from us, only exist as separate objects within our minds. They have no inherent reality other than the non-dual consciousness that we truly are. Ramana Maharshi urges you to investigate this claim deeply. By thoroughly inquiring into the nature of objects, thoughts, and the mind, the realization will dawn that what we experience as the world is merely a projection within the mind. At the root of all this experience is consciousness itself. This consciousness is the self, which is the only true reality. Everything else, objects, thoughts, the world, are temporary and mental creations within this larger, ever-present reality. When you recognize that the self is the underlying and only reality in which everything else exists, duality falls away. The distinction between self and other, subject and object, dissolves. In this non-duality, thoughts no longer arise to disturb your inner peace. This realization, the self-knowledge where you see the self as eternal and beyond the temporary nature of the mind's projections, is what Ramana refers to as the realization of the self. It is permanent peace, free from the suffering caused by identifying with the fleeting nature of objects and thoughts. So know yourself and be always free and at peace. In 40 verses on reality, Ramana Maharshi explains the nature of the self, the ultimate reality, and self-inquiry. My new book, with my comments and inquiry questions, opens these teachings up and brings them into your practice and experience. Available now from Amazon. Link in the video description. These videos bring Ramana's teachings into your direct experience. Click subscribe to see more. Click thumbs up to like, and send questions and start a dialogue with a comment.